LinkedIn videos and LinkedIn audio. Yes, those audio messages that can be sent in the private message, as well as those private videos that can be sent via LinkedIn message. Many of us are not taking advantage of it. And today, my friend Ollie is going to talk about how he's doing that and how he's seeing people using it and how you can get more appointments from taking advantage of these powerful tools on LinkedIn. You're going to love this session. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast here on TSC TV on YouTube. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have an amazing guest. His name is Ollie Whitfield, and Ollie worked for a company called Vanilla Soft. He's going to talk about that at the very end of our episode today. But Ollie, dude, is like one of those individuals that I just really like connecting with on social media. He knows how to come with value, and he knows how to interact socially. He's going to share his insights on how we could take advantage of the LinkedIn voice feature as well as the video component and how we can do it well to land more appointments. You're going to like this session. We'll dive in right away and you start hearing some very, very helpful tips and some advice. So let's go ahead and jump into the session. Ollie, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a weird occasion for me. This is one of the podcasts that I know really well, and you've done so many episodes. I can't believe your work ethic. So it's just awesome to be here. I dread to think what number episode I am, but all the same, I'm glad to be a part of this.
Well, I'm excited to have you. If you need to know really, really bad, you're 1431. So
Wow.
1431.
How have you done that, dude? That's nuts.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
We were doing 5 days a week at one point. And we jumped down to 3 days a week. And the great thing about it, I mean, I'm the talent, right? But the process happens behind the people who are making the sausage. They're the ones who make the stuff work great. And without them, I couldn't do it. So awesome stuff.
That was very modest, very humble, but well said.
Well, brother, I appreciate you. And you're one of those people I admire and your ability from the very first time. If we were to go back to our first LinkedIn message, I think you were connected with Jack at that point back then. And I think you had used that as a connection point, or we had a connection point through Jack. And the message, your outreach message was just like spot on. It was like a personal message, and it wasn't like these canned things that I see. So every time when I think about effective social sellers, you're one of those people that show up on that Mount Rushmore, so to speak, of effective sellers through social media.
Wow, that's an accolade. Can I put that in my LinkedIn headline? Is that okay?
Please, you can do that. I'm on a Mount Rushmore of social sellers from the Sales Evangelist. But I want to get from you today, what are some of those things though that sellers can take advantage of? There's several new features on LinkedIn relatively recently that are just that's used great, and one of them is LinkedIn voice message, and the other part's video. So I want to break into that a little bit and just dive right in and tell us about it, like why and how can we use these to become more effective at setting more appointments?
Well, you know what? The first voice message I ever got, I didn't know it was a thing. And when I saw it, I was on my desktop, and you can't, or at least at this point, maybe you can. This is how good they are at telling you what's new. I had no idea it was a thing. I didn't know you could do it. And you probably can do it by desktop, but I still don't even know if that's true or not. Obviously I had no idea what this thing was. And I clicked play, and I'm like, what the hell? How did this happen? How do I not know about this? And it wasn't a sales message. I confess it wasn't like a prospecting outreach. It was a guy checking up on something we were doing together, a webinar. But I thought, wow, that was like better than a 20-minute Zoom call. That was better than an email, better than like a 4-paragraph message with 9 questions. He just picked up the phone, and I presume he went, "Hey man, wanted to know A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Let me know, thanks." I hung up. That was it. And I thought, wow, that's awesome. I got to use that if I'm reaching out to some people. It's way quicker.
Yeah. For your perspective, why did you like it a little bit more? You said because it was quicker, but is there anything else that made it stand out to you that I like this, and therefore maybe my prospects would appreciate or like this?
I think for the same reason you're streaming this on YouTube. People like to see a person. They like to hear a voice instead of just text like an email. And for that, that's sort of like the novelty part of it. Oh, this is shiny, this is new. I've not seen this before. The same reason I clicked on it that first time, and the same reason I don't get that many of them. Most messages we get, it is text based, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just another. This is a standout. This is a slightly different. This is slightly. It shows effort in a weird way. I think now more than ever, we're all getting a bit upset, a bit bothered by how many automated outreaches we get. It's the whole, hey, I saw that you commented on person's post, yeah, along with 14,000 other people that you sent that message to. Oh, yawn. But the voice note, unless, well, actually, I was about to say, unless you've got some kind of cool technology, they're starting to become, those technologies are starting to get around. But anyways, I think it shows a lot more effort and a lot more personal, one-to-one effort to make that connection, which is why I know, okay, yeah, this is worth taking a look at.
Yeah, and I think you go back to it's that effort. Well, obviously novelty side of it, but two is that effort that it takes for you to be able to do that. And the other part to that, three, is that it's not automated, and I think that's where it separates us. I don't know how many automated message you probably get from LinkedIn, or not from LinkedIn, but on LinkedIn on a day-to-day basis. If you're a venture,
maybe 20 a week. It depends if my posts go well.
Yeah,
that's honestly the trigger. It's if you got quite a lot of reach that week, you get more for some reason.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that too. So let's say 20 per week that we're getting, and of those 20 per week, we are getting all of the automated messages. I can tell you on average, probably about the similar, ballpark around there, maybe 10 to that 15, 20. But if I'm getting those automated messages, I know that right away that they're not to me, and I delete them. So if I'm deleting that many per week, that's how much. Think about the prospect, and then it's just like this breath of fresh air when somebody says your name or even reference something. They're like, say, man, hey, I see that you're working with VanillaSoft. By the way, when I first saw the name, I thought it was like an ice cream shop, and I absolutely got excited to check you guys out. But anyways, man, the reason I'm reaching out is because of this. I would at least listen to this guy because I'm like, what is it? Where did you talk about this ice cream from? And it's just different. That's something geared towards me, and it's powerful in that aspect. And I think that leads to the appointment. But let's go back into talking the first part about the video components. Have you used videos at all when it comes towards LinkedIn in your outreach?
I have, yeah, and I find that it's really common now in email outreach, and not just for kind of what you would see on screen now if you're watching it on video. It's not just like the box with the head in the middle and the guy talking or whoever talking. You can use it for stuff like, here's that 30-second demo, or the screen share of your website, your LinkedIn profile, whatever. There's a load of different ones that you can do. I find the LinkedIn one, it's kind of got to be like this, just the heads talking together. It's got to be me to you, otherwise it's there's nothing wrong with the whole screen share thing. I find that's perfectly acceptable, but if you're going for LinkedIn, that's absolutely one-to-one. There's no forwarding that message, which there is with email. So I find that's more appropriate. Where, I'm gonna sit here. Maybe I have a whiteboard. Maybe I put that "Hey Donald" thing on the whiteboard, and I say, "Hey Donald, look, I got a cool video for you," and that's the intro to the video. But I find as best you can do that get your face, get your voice there, because I forget the numbers, but there's a stat like how we interpret what's said to us is 4% about the written word and like 80% tone of voice or something. Well, maybe I've butchered that stat, but as much as you can rely on that, the best, I think. And I try to keep it around 60 seconds. Never any more than that. Otherwise, it's just I find it difficult to digest it, if you know what I mean.
Of course, and I think I can't remember the exact stat either, but we'll find that. Maybe we'll put it in the show notes. But it's essentially they're coming back to the body language component. And if I'm just relying on text alone to convey that body language or to convey that message, I mean, text cannot convey the sales evangelist tonality. Like it can't convey to like your mannerism, and that part helps. And I think that there's the component of all of this, the psychological piece, when it comes to human beings, is that we think in pictures anyways. So if I'm able to picture you, if I'm able to use more of my senses to communicate with you, it increases the chances of you being if I'm you understanding me. So you're gonna see me, you're gonna hear me. You can't smell me or feel me, but it's much better than just reading what I would write. And you get a chance to see that mannerism, and we can build that trust. People do business with those that know, like, and trust right away. And I think there's some value in that component. But I would love to hear any stories of or experiences that you have when it comes towards how do you feel that this part can help to schedule more appointments, or have you used this, any of the videos or voice messages features of LinkedIn to schedule any appointments, or seen an increase, or heard any stories within your own organization because you're steep in the social world?
I have, yeah. So the main thing, I think I've learned this the hard way. This is like rule 101 before you actually get into it. Think of this as really, really, really targeted. So don't go and say, got 1,000 leads.
Yeah.
We're going to have at it and have a whole load of LinkedIn videos. It will take you, you can't really do a proper LinkedIn message in under a minute. So even if you did 30 seconds, that's still 500 hours, 500
Yeah.
minutes. That's a long time to be sending voice notes, talking to your phone. That's a really long time. So I try my best to think, okay, this is cherry picking. This is not just the first outreach. You could use it at any point. You could say, just checking that we're still on for our demo later on or whatever. There's a whole bunch of uses, but aside from follow-ups, to get new conversations on the books, whether you call it disco or whatever else,
Yeah.
I reach out to a couple people, and probably the best tactic I've seen, actually, depending on your deal size, depending on who you sell to, might not be applicable, but if you can, I think this is really good. A lot of people start to reach out to champions first, and they sort of connect on the contributor level instead of going straight to the DM right at the top. And they can say,
Yeah.
"Oh, hey, just like you and me, we've had a conversation a bunch of times. We connect just as two guys."
Yeah.
And along the way, if it's appropriate, we can talk about, oh, maybe my company needs a bit of sales training. How do I think we're doing? Have I got any feedback, thoughts? You collect that information from a few people in the team, obviously in an appropriate way. It's not kind of stabbing the manager in the back at all, but you can bring that information to the decision maker at the end.
Yeah.
And there's no better way to do that, especially if you're trying to avoid that sensitivity with the tone, than a video or a voice note, because then you can make sure it doesn't come off bad. The amount of times I've got upset with people because they sent me a message and I totally misread it, that would have been a voice note and they got it totally right. You can avoid that, and you can collect all the information you need, take it to the decision maker, have a great chat with them.
Dude, love that, and especially the component there. And I think we go back to the novelty idea just as much as this is a novelty for our prospect. Many of us see a nice shiny object syndrome as a sales rep and like, yes, I'm going to message every single person I know and send them a voice message. But you're right, cherry pick the right individuals or create that as putting some points down. But have that key or that dream 100 or dream 50 or dream 30 list. Like, these are key accounts, and based on those key accounts, then I could then look for individuals. Maybe there's 5 individuals in that company, and we did an episode at the top of the year talking about one of the things, the trends to look for. And there's a study by Gartner that pointed out that most organizations now making decisions based on committee aspects, and then also a lot of folks who are making decisions, a part of those committees, are millennials. So the concept that we were to help sales professionals is that when you're doing that outreach, look for who else in that organization that could be a part of that potential buying committee based on their roles, or just others in that company. And I love the idea there of getting intel first off from just personal connection with chaps or anyone in the organization, and then now you have ammunition or valid reasons to be able to help sharpen your pitch when it comes towards sending like a voice message to a decision maker. Anything else that you've seen or learned that can help when it comes towards these voice message strategies or using videos?
You know what? Actually, the number one thing I'd add to that, just dropping the voice note by itself, it looks a bit weird. And
Good.
that's not to say that it's a bad idea. There is definitely the novelty effect. So, like I said, the first one I ever got, I automatically I clicked play. I wanted to know what it was, and I wanted to know how to do it.
That's gonna wear off.
Yeah, and sometimes if you've just connected with somebody, you and me have never met each other. I just connect with you now, and a minute or two later on, you get a voice note, and you think, what? This feels a bit like the connect and pitch type of thing, and you don't really understand what the voice note is, especially if you haven't had one before. So to caveat, unless you've done it a couple of times with that person, write the notes first. Set the expectation. So you say to them, "Hey Donald, just wanted to connect. I'm just about to send you a voice note. Heads up," and you can say, it's about ABC, or if you want to, but I try and sort of keep it a little bit of mystery without being too vague that it's deceptive. But try to sort of lay the foundation that I am going to send you this. You might think it's weird, but I'm still doing it. There's sort of like an authenticity there about that.
Yeah, you're so right on that. I mean, and when I think about it for even myself, since I use them a lot, and like you said, I use them for all different purposes, just to connect with folks, or confirm something, or whatever, different stage of the process, telling a client, complimented something I saw from them on social media. But the piece though, when I do get them randomly, it's almost like in my mind, you can automatically probably start associating it with like, is this a spam? It's a random link. I'm grateful that it's LinkedIn, so we know that's not the case. But still, yet it has that could have that association unless it's specified, or it's like, okay, it's 1 minute. There's going to be a pitch in this. But if I'm able to get something from Ollie saying, hey, DK, I'm sending you this message, and it's about this webinar that we're doing and a point that I thought could help your community. Take a listen and let me know if it makes sense, and I'll send you the link afterwards. Like, oh, cool. Let me see what he has to talk about. You see it.
I got, this is like a weird one, but I got sent a pizza for my lunch out of nowhere by a family member last week. I opened the door, I'm like, what? What the hell? I didn't order a pizza. Why have I got a pizza? Is it for somebody else? Did I make a mistake? All these questions go through my mind. Not, I've got a pizza. All those things happen first. So if I got a message first saying, hey, just so you know, there is a pizza coming, I wouldn't have worried about it, but they have it. It's the same kind of thing. Just I prefer to lay the groundwork so that they understand what's coming.
Yeah, if I got a pizza randomly, I'll be like, is this a real Domino's guy? Is this a real Pizza Hut dude? Or is this someone trying to lace something, trying to poison me?
It was a good day. I had a barbecue chicken pizza for lunch. It was great.
Man, what company? What pizza?
Oh, it's Pizza Hut. It's like the best one around here. All the other ones aren't quite so good. So I'm like, wow, it's going to be a good day.
Noted. So if I want to get on your good side, I probably need to send you a barbecue chicken pizza. With a note beforehand.
You guys need Nando's in North America.
Nando's.
That.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I need to put a point in that one. Well, we were just talking about before this, y'all, that I want to go on. When this all lifts, I want to go on the other side of the pond. We were planning to do some European stuff before, and then COVID hit and kind of threw our plans out the window. But as travel opened back up over the next year, we want to come over there. So Nando's.
We'll do a live in Nando's with a beer episode.
Live from Nando, the sales evangelist. That'll be episode like what? We'll probably be like, let's say 2000 by then.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, it's the idea though. But you go back to it, man. If we can bring folks like you on the show who can bring value and share principles and tips like this, I mean, it goes a long way. I want to go back to this idea, though. You mentioned a little bit ago, we were talking about the, sending messages to prospect, and we are talking about sending videos as well to prospects. The personal effect, we talked about that a little bit, but then the post, the creating effective posts. How do those posts tie back to you getting appointments? Because I know that I have my theory, but I would love to hear from you. You mentioned that. Tell us a little bit more about your strategy when it comes to posting on LinkedIn.
Oh, well, I'm trying to post every day. I'll be honest, I'm finding it kind of difficult. So I have a podcast that's relatively new, so we put out 2 times a week. So that effectively does 2 days out of my 5 per week, where if you discount weekends. Then I have 3 days a week where it's not a huge burden, but you got to think about something and you got to work out what you're going to do. A long time ago, I was a big fan of list posts where you've seen it. There's like the top 20 sales podcasts by HubSpot or whatever. Yeah. And you mention all of the people and they all comment saying thank you and you get all of their reach. Great. Fantastic. That's kind of no longer in fashion. So I've tried to sort of reiterate on that. I did not coin this technique. I forget his name now. It's the director of marketing at Databox's idea. I'm copying him outright. Sure. I'm going to say it. He searches for a keyword in LinkedIn and you put not name or company, but you can put content so you can see the posts with that certain keyword. So I might write
Huh.
podcasts, and I click the content tab, and I can see like 14 zillion podcast posts you can see. But if you type in something else like cold email, you get loads of cold email advice, and the top ones with lots of comments and stuff like that. So I can go, oh look, Donald had this great nugget about how to write a cold email. I screen cap about 5 or 6 of them at a time, save them on my iPad so I don't have to keep it, and then I just sort of do the whole list post thing again. I say, I was researching cold email for whatever reason, and here are some awesome nuggets that I found. Quote one, quick sentence, tag the person. Same, and then I post it. And I ask people, oh, hey, have you seen anybody else posting something like that? I could do that maybe twice a week, probably not too much more.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual benefit I get from doing that is 2-3 times better than what I would just do by myself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but people seem to like it. It's sort of a little different.
So you're curating now. So you're getting second and third degree connections that are coming back to you, and especially your first degree connections. Do you follow up on each of those? Because then you mentioned that depending on your post, how much you might have on your automation. But do you have any strategy from your standpoint where you would connect with them, or do you see how we could use voicemails or videos in that setting? And if you hear that screaming, that's my kid.
No, it's 2021, man. That's what happens. Do you mean the people that engage with the post, or the? Okay, yeah. So I give it. Oh, it's difficult now, isn't it? So it used to be about 6 hours you would get a run rate on LinkedIn where it's kind of visible, but now it's like 2 weeks. So without checking every 10 minutes, I go maybe twice a day just to see if there's anything too much going on with the post. If it's really going crazy, I'll look at it a couple of times a day, see who's engaging with it. If people are, if it's not going that crazy, then I'll leave it once and I'll collect the big list of names.
Yeah.
Then I look through, check for ICP. Depending on the topic, not always is it going to be a great match. It's kind of like doing a webinar. You might get half, roughly. It depends.
Yeah.
Then I go from there, and chances are I'm not connected with a bunch of them because most of the engagement comes with the people I've tagged. So there's probably 4 or 5 people. They probably put a like on it or said thanks, and their people have then seen it from that. So I'm going through, and from there I just hit them with the general connect because they've seen me relatively recently. They probably don't need to know, oh, it's that guy that posted that thing. They know roughly who it is, and then you go from there. So it's the video could say, and I know it references that post again. Like I said before, you get thousands of people saying, I saw you commented on this post.
Yeah.
But we know that's automated. So when I do it by a video or by a voice note, it's not. And then it's less weird. So as much as it's a marginal improvement, the medium shows the effort. And then more times than not, you do get the response.
Love it, man. I did an episode on polls because I'm a big fan of polls now. And I've seen that when I do a poll, I get probably about, I would say probably 60% of those people are second and third degree connection. Yep. And it's fascinating with, especially using a hashtag. So then following up on those folks with that personal message makes a big difference and can lead to some appointments. Any other strategies of getting more appointments that you might share with us as we wrap up here, the last minute?
Any other strategies? Wow.
When it comes to LinkedIn voice message or videos, when it comes towards converting those into appointments, any other thoughts on that?
Okay, so the more swings of the bat that you can get, the better, and that doesn't mean crank out 50 a day. So the best way to do that is calendar block, in my opinion. Everything I do is calendar block, so that's whether you're doing it 8 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, whatever. Book the whole hour. What you don't want is to be saying, right, lead number 2, Donald.
Yeah.
What do I say? You need to know, okay, I've already done the research for every single person. I know exactly what I'm going to say for each of them. And I'm going to sit and bulk record so that I have them so I can hit send, and that's done. You don't really want to be, right, I'm going to record, now I'm going to research, now I'm going to record, send. Nail the process, nail the routine for that so you can get more done, you get better at it. Second thing, what I was going to do before I jumped onto this podcast? My cat is just here above me to the right of my frame. She loves to jump in front of the camera when I'm doing stuff. I was going to take her out of the room, but I haven't. And you've just had your dog barking. Don't worry about that. It really doesn't matter. Everyone knows that this stuff is going to happen unless, the house is on fire. hit,
Might be a little
pause,
different.
maybe come back when the house isn't on fire. But generally, it's fine. And if it's
Yeah.
really bad and you think it was that terrible and you couldn't breathe or anything when you recorded, just do it again. You don't have to send it. But generally, one voice note that's bad, better than 75 emails that prospect got. So don't worry about it.
Love it, man. Now you work with Vanilla Soft. You mind telling us a little bit about that and then how folks can get in touch with you?
Well, I'm lucky. I got a weird name. So that means if you if you search my name in their LinkedIn, you'll probably find me. And I'm kind of sad. There's a guy on Twitter who's got the @Ollie Whitfield, but I have to have the underscore at the end. I really want that account, and he doesn't even use it. So
Come on, dude.
I don't know how I get in touch with him to tell me, apart from if I just ask him. But there you have it. I'm always on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
My favorite place. I don't like Facebook anymore. It's all about LinkedIn for me, so I'm always there. And Vanilla Soft and AutoClose, I get to have a whole bunch of fun digging into what sales reps do, how they reach out to people all day. But vanillasoft.com, autoclose.com. If you can't spell that or if you can't remember it, it's on my LinkedIn profile anyway, so probably best to find it there.
Ollie, thank you so much for coming on the show today, man. I appreciate your wisdom. Thank you again.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you having me.
Listen, that was Ollie, and if you want to connect with him, you can find him on LinkedIn as he shared. You can also connect with him on Twitter, but make sure to put that underscore at the end. We have all that information down in the description below, as well as if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, just swipe up on the cover art and you'll see all the show notes down below. Go ahead and click on that, connect with him. And while you're doing this as well, make sure to connect with our sponsors, our friends who are doing some amazing favors for us by giving you some amazing gifts. They're giving you some things that are very, very, very good. I highly recommend you take advantage of them. I love it, and this is why I recommend it to you all. If you haven't done so already, leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It means a lot. I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want you to go out and change your mindset each and every single day and do big things. Thank you so much for watching.